How can you represent and solve problems involving absolute value? A bottlenose dolphin swims downward 5 feet per second for 15 seconds. Then it swims up 50 feet. What is the total distance the dolphin swims? Write an expression to represent the total distance the dolphin swims. Swimming downward 5 feet per second is represented by -5. The dolphin swims downward for 15 seconds. Since distance is positive, the dolphin swims down 15 times the absolute value of -5. Then the dolphin swims up 50 feet. Which expression represents the total distance the dolphin swims?
Select your answer.
Use the order of operations to find the value of the expression. Evaluate the absolute value. Multiply. Find the sum. The dolphin swims a total of 125 feet.
A dive pod descends 80 feet and then rises 3 feet per second for 12 seconds. The distance the pod travels is represented by the expression, the absolute value of -80 plus 3 times 12. What is the total distance the dive pod travels?
Okay, so it is telling us the expression that we have to use to find the total distance. So the absolute value is being used here because it's asking for the total distance. So we don't want to use the negative or positive, it just wants total distance. So the absolute value of -80 is 80, and then you have plus 3 times 12. So in order of operations, multiplication, it goes PEMDAS, right? That's our order of operations acronym. So P is for parentheses, E is for exponents, M is for multiplication, D is for division, A is for addition, S is for subtraction. So looking at our expression, we have to find first, does it have parentheses? No. Does it have exponents? No. Does it have multiplication? Yes. So we do multiplication, which is the 3 times 12. That's here. And so we're going to do 3 times 12 is 36, and then we still have the 80, and we're adding that to the 36. Now we do what's left, which is 80 plus 36, which is equal to 116. And the measurement is feet. So the pod traveled a total distance of 116 feet.
Find the value of the expression -8 divided by the absolute value of 5 minus 7.
So they have rewritten the expression to show 5 minus 7, which is inside of the absolute value bars, and that is -2. And then we have -8 and the division sign. Then they have to find the absolute value of -2, and that is 2. So we have -8 divided by 2. Once we divide that, we have -4, and then that is the value of that expression. Now let's find the values of some of the expressions. I'm going to do number B. So let's look at B. And it says -2 times the absolute value of -7 plus 3. So order of operations again. Parentheses can also stand for any type of grouping, such as absolute value or brackets or any of those things. So we're going to do what's inside of the absolute value first. So -7 plus 3 is going to give us -4. And we still have those absolute value bars, and we still have -2. Now we need to find the absolute value of 4, which is going to be 4, and we still have multiplying -2. And then we multiply -2 times 4, and that is going to equal -8. And that's it. So I'm going to ask you to try A and C on your own.
Bank teller A processed 5 withdrawals of $20 each and a deposit of $80. Bank teller B processed 3 deposits of $25 and a withdrawal of $120. Which bank teller processed more money?
So we look at bank teller A, and we're going to compare the amounts. So for bank teller A, it shows us -20 times 5, because there are 5 deposits he made, withdrawals he made of $20. So that's -20 times 5 in absolute value bars, because they only want to know the total money, not whether it's negative or positive, just the total money. So they use the absolute value to get just the value. And then they added the $80 for the deposit. And so they evaluated -20 times 5 is -100, and then they still have the plus 80. You find the absolute value of -100, which is 100, add 80, and that's $180 for teller A. Now we look at teller B, and we have $25 times 3, because he took in 3 deposits of $25, and he had a withdrawal for $120, so that's why it's in the absolute value bars. So the absolute value of -120 is 120, and we still have 25 times 3 in our expression. Then we have to follow order of operations still, and multiplication would come next. Multiplication is 25 times 3 equals 75 plus the 120, and that equals 195. So now that we have the total for each teller, teller B processed more money because he had $195, and teller A only processed $180.
A pot of soup was placed in the refrigerator. The temperature of the soup decreased by 52 degrees Fahrenheit per hour for 2 hours. The soup was then placed in the freezer, and the temperature decreased by 12 degrees Fahrenheit per hour for 4 hours. In which location, the refrigerator or the freezer, did the soup have the greater change in temperature?
All right, so let's look at this problem. We have a refrigerator that the soup was placed in, and a freezer. So in the refrigerator, the soup decreased by 52 degrees per hour for 2 hours. So we would have decrease tells us that it's -52 degrees per hour for 2 hours. So you would do -2 times 2 hours. And that will give us the change in temperature for those 2 hours. So that's our expression. However, because it's asking for the total change, we're going to put absolute value bars. Let me use a different color. We're going to put absolute value bars around the -52, because we just want the total temperature change. So then we can evaluate for the refrigerator. So -52, the absolute value would be just 52, and then times 2. And then you have to solve for 52 times 2, and that will equal 104 degrees. So that's the change in temperature for the refrigerator. Now let's take a look at the freezer. So the freezer decreased by 12 degrees Fahrenheit per hour for 4 hours. So our expression would be decreased by 12 would be negative 12 degrees, and it's per hour for 4 hours. So we're going to multiply by the 4 hours. That will give us the time it changed in that 4 hours. So now we're going to put the absolute value bars around the negative 12 because we just want the total change. So we're going to find the absolute value of negative 12, and that's 12, and we're going to have multiplied by 4. And then 12 times 4 is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is for the freezer. So the question says, which location did the soup have greater change in temperature? And as we can see, the greater change in temperature was with the refrigerator. So the refrigerator is the one that has the greater amount of change.